approve the minutes from the November 30th meeting.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we got the one for December 11th.
I move that we approve the minutes for December 11th.
Second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Financial report, you got it?
Yep, okay. The claims that we have for November, that were paid after our November meeting, totaled $1,245.55. The claims that we have for the month of December come to $110,450.04. And there is going to be a correction on that. I gave Jody the wrong fund number when I wrote the fund number down for the context for the design and planning for Baldwin Park. And I put the wrong fund number down there, and I didn't catch it until today. And so she cut that check on the 27th, and I didn't see it. I didn't know she'd already done it. And I asked her about it this morning, she said she'd already done it. So we'll change that and take that money, that will come out of the Montpelier Economic Development? Is that
No,
what it
it'll
was?
go back into TIF. That's where the check came from. And
Yeah.
then we'll pay it through the,
Economic Development, that's the money from the railroad project. We hadn't spent any of it, $260,000 in there, so this is 80-some thousand, and it'll come out of 83,000, 84,000, something like that. Anyway, it'll come out of that redevelopment fund,
Okay.
which is what we were planning on using for Baldwin Park, and I just gave her the wrong number.
Okay.
So the balance in the TIF is $783,463.94, and we'll add another 84,000 back into that yet. We got our tax draw in December, $184,837.12. And that was up from last year's. I don't remember how much, but it was more this year. I think this was the first year that we got the railroad property tax, because we bill a year in arrears. So this was the first year that was added in. Heating and cooling, that claim that's on there in 1215 was for the Cheney Building, getting ready for the Christmas event. We did have some revenue, $600 from Dillinger's, and $20,000 for the sale of the school to Hagios. And our property taxes,
$600 from
$600 for Dillinger's.
Not 800. You said 800.
Oh, did I say 800? I'm sorry,
600.
600 for, 600 for Dillinger's. 800 is what the contract is for Bucky Medical, yeah, 600. And Bill Paxson, we paid him to mow down the school one last time, beginning of the month. Tim Kane, that was for some work done on the Fountain Park downtown. That's it. The rest of them were just utilities and miscellaneous stuff.
I move that we.
Okay, we got a motion to accept the financial report. Got a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next thing on here is new business. And it's Mainstream Agreement Residential Broadband Project.
we have with us tonight Mark Gabriel and Fred Price with Mainstream. And we've been working with them. Gosh, when did you guys first come to Montpelier? Was it 14, 13, 14, someplace like that? Was it 14? I remember Jacob Everett was our economic development director at the time. Yeah, that's who it was, yeah. And that's when the county had just first started talking about doing a broadband project, trying to get internet into the county. And Mark and Fred reached out to the city of Montpelier. I met with them. Did you guys read about something in the paper or heard something from somebody that we were looking for an internet project, trying to figure out how to get, and, because I had met with Jacob Everett on that, and he wanted, the county wanted to install the fiber, and they wanted to own the fiber, and they wanted to bill for it and collect which I thought would be a horrible disaster. But anyway, because it's very expensive in the first place. And he told us that day that the city's share would be $250,000 at that time. And I said, we were lucky to have $250. So that wasn't going to happen, I told him. So anyway, long story short, Fred and Mike appeared on the scene. We met with them. And then we had a introduction of Mainstream out at the Tin Lizzie, and invited all the factories and businesses and stuff to come in, and they gave their pitch about what they could plan to do for Blackford County. They brought $1 million, or a little over $1 million worth of fiber into the county at no cost to the county. Didn't cost the county one penny for that. We still lease all of our equipment and everything through it's included in the price of that we have for a contract, and I don't remember now what our phones are. Pretty minimal, but we don't pay AT&T. We don't have long distance carrier. We have, everything goes through VoIP. So that's worked out very well for us. And this time I'll let them go ahead and explain to us and about how they would like to bring residential fiber to Montpelier.
Essentially, just recently in October, I found a financial investment partner out of New York. They're about the third largest investment firm in internet in the country. It's called Searchlight is the name of the company.
What was it, Fred?
Searchlight.
Searchlight?
Capital.
And there were several releases that were made throughout the state, news releases. One, the Lieutenant Governor, Crouch, came out and said that it's going to help the state, which is why there's a Hoover company that's dedicated to boosting broadband access to all corners of Indiana. Searchlight Corporation also has a partner who used to be the former federal FCC communications chairman. So they have about $1 billion in assets under management right now. So it's a big company. It's going to allow us to move much quicker and faster without the need of grants. Like Mark's been on the road quite a bit the last few days, working with counties to bring them into our program.
With Searchlight, we had originally proposed to Montpelier that we would go for a grant. When we started talking about that, the FCC mapping indicated that Montpelier would be grant eligible. And that has since changed as they have updated the maps. Maps I can show you, but, when they came out with new maps, we made we were concerned that they probably weren't really, correct. So we did challenge the data with the state, ROCRA, and they decided that, they were right, we were wrong. So there's probably, 70% of the county is not grant eligible at all for any, state or federal grants. Saying all that, we determined that we still wanted to do the transaction with, Montpelier to go ahead and get this, started. We can start, we don't have to wait on, the grant, funding will not be available till June. So we can start basically next month with engineering and start the build out late March, early April, and have all the construction done by, probably end of June, early July. And that would be providing service to, every business or home would be available within city limits of Montpelier. So the additional money that we were looking at the state to provide, we decided to just go ahead and fund that portion so we could get started and get this project completed. That's the change from when we originally met and discussed it, but obviously we've had a long relationship with Montpelier. You know, we know that most people don't have significant coverage, but the state and the feds do not see it that way. And if you try to change those things, it takes time. I mean, we've done some of that in the past. We've gotten them to change their mind, but that's probably a process of a year or 2 years to get that done. So we really don't want to wait, go through the process. We just rather move forward with the transaction.
And the city's share of that is still $150,000.
Yes, the same.
Do you have an estimate on the total cost of the project?
We're estimating right now, 850,000, so we'd be putting in the entire 700,000 for the transaction. And, you know, the process, this is fiber for the entire community. There's no wireless involved in the community. This would be fiber directly into every home and business, if they wanted to be a customer.
Is this fiber, is it in ground or overhead?
We typically do about 80% on poles, utility poles, and then roughly 10 to 20% is underground. There are just some areas that are you cannot use poles, and so those are the places we do underground. But that's our normal process. So we would use utility poles if there weren't existing utility poles that would be available. We have done our own utility poles in Benton County. We put in 1,500 utility poles of our own. So because the RMC did not have the capacity personnel-wise to upgrade their service. So maybe 40-foot poles, that's now what you use when you put utility poles in. But we will do that in some cases. You know, we may put a pole here or a pole there just to make it all easier. So we'll attach both to, 80 also our own.
You had to do that when you worked from Harbor City out to the jail, wasn't it, or something? You had to
Yeah.
put up poles, I remember on
Yeah.
26, yeah.
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But, when we did our first project was here in, Blackford County. Since then, we've added, we have 9 counties we're actively providing service in the state, and we're building into 3 more counties right now. And, we have a number of counties in round 4 that will be applying for grants, in eligible locations, which are unserved and underserved, and designated by the state and the FCC as that.
So what will be the hookup fee for residents?
There's gonna be no hookup fee at all.
So you'll run from the pole into the residence
Yes.
at your expense?
Yeah, because originally, because if you get grant money, part of that grant money includes hookups. And, since we're gonna do that, we're just gonna do it the same way. So there would be no fees.
And can you give us an estimate of what the monthly bill might be?
Yeah, our minimum speed is 300 over 300. And that's $59.95. And then we go up to a gig speed, which is $79.95. And actually, we actually have more, we can go up to about 2.5 gigs for a home if they wanted to do that. For a business, we can do even more. I mean, we're providing 10 gigs or 10 gigs in other locations right now for business, and we would typically be able to provide up to probably 50 gig speed if we needed to, and then if somebody, if you had a business that came into town that wanted more speed, I mean, you could use the same fiber, you can go to 100 over 100 pretty easily, so.
So $59 to $79.
Mhm. Yeah, just how fast you want to go. So, but 300 over 300 will really allow you to stream, a family of mom and dad and 3 kids, 300 over 300 should be adequate for them.
And that's $60.
Then we also are a participant in the ACP program, which is for people who can't afford that. So there's a federal program, if they qualify, they can apply, and then federal government will pay $30 for the fee. I think that's really all the change we made, because we originally talked about grant money, and that's, the FCC updates their maps every 6 months now, and they do change, and, some pretty significant changes in the last couple of updates. So, when we talked to the state, we weren't successful, so we decided to go ahead and do the transaction anyhow, because we definitely have an interest. And we do this, rural areas. We're not gonna go into, Marion or Muncie. We'll build in the rural areas of those counties, but we're not going into the big communities at all. We're strictly rural.
So you say about 70%, is that what you said, of the county is eligible?
And eligible.
Ineligible?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
for the grant, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's public information. You can go to the FCC map site and pull up Blackford County. You can actually see it. So and you can put in specific things as far as types of service and things like that. And basically what the state and the federal government are looking at is fixed wireless, DSL, fiber, and they don't take into account any satellites at all. That does not qualify for any kind of grant money, but that's where the grant money will go. That's the kinds of services they're looking at. So that's, from time to time, and we look at it fairly continually, but so in June, there's gonna be another update, right, in December, there'll be another update in 24.
And the reason that they're ineligible is because we already have fiber?
Fiber or DSL or fixed wireless.
Okay,
And so with the providers self-report the areas they service. And so any wireless company, and we're required to do that. That's part of the requirement for us. The funding, USAC funding, which is for schools, medical, and libraries. If we don't self-report, then we're not going to be eligible to get funding and be a provider for those kinds of institutions. So everybody self-reports. It's an annual report, and they take that and apply that to each of the counties. So the 70% served area is what the providers have reported.
okay.
There's some points in your contract that's been brought up, that we have questions on. We'd like to address those if we could.
Sure.
Again, Brad brought this to our attention here, but there's in section 4.2, there's a $5,000 a day fine against the city if Main Street finds the GIF map incorrect. Would you like to expand upon that?
It's just, it's basically, as protection, because we have found in the past that sometimes the data that's being presented is not correct. And that obviously costs, time and money.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The question I have is, we don't do GIS mapping, the county does it.
Okay.
So would the city have to pay that fine?
No, it'd be county then, that's one time.
Okay. That's what I was wondering about when I saw that, because we don't do GIS.
The contract should
Is
say
it-
that.
Pardon?
The contract should say that the county is responsible, not, it says the city right now.
We can change that.
Yeah, we can change that.
Yeah.
That's not a.
That's not a lot. Appreciate it, eliminate it.
You would probably have to come before the commissioners and the county council.
Yeah, that's,
We can just take it out. We just,
so you take
well,
that out?
yeah, we
Okay.
just take it out.
Okay.
Well, initially,
That would be awesome. That would be good. Oh. Top turn, like they all turn top there.
Well, I read in there where it says that there's a 20-year tax abatement, and I don't ever remember, and we don't have any control of the tax abatement anyway. Redevelopment Commission wouldn't have any say on that. That all has to do with the city council. Has the city council approved that?
I think that's what you're saying they're asking.
That's what we're asking.
That's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just something that they did in their
I'm
contract.
gonna be the donkey's butt here. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, but I
There's
just,
a lot to this that we still don't know. I gotta be honest with you. You guys were here 3 months ago and tried to explain some of it, and then say this as quiet as I can. You show up 3 days before this administration's out wanting us to sign a contract. I think there's a lot more that needs to be looked at on this whole deal. Now, that's just me, because number one, I will be honest, I'm not going, I would never use it anyway in my household. I have no need for it. So I really don't understand all of it anyway, but I think there's a lot more to this that needs to be looked into before any kind of contract signed. That's just my opinion.
Any specifics in there that you wanna point out?
I glanced through it, today's the first I'd seen it, so I don't know that much about it.
So obviously, we don't have we're not allowed to give you, the redevelopment commission is not allowed to give you a 20-year tax abatement. If the county, is it the county that gets to decide that, or is it the city?
Council.
The city council, if the city council chooses not to do that, would that be something that you guys would be willing to come back to the table with, or I guess where, I don't know, what's that?
And I think the reason, and I'm just speaking here from experience in here, they're not charging us, they're doing most of the cost of the project.
Yeah.
And that's how they will recuperate some of their expenses as far as not paying taxes, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's, obviously, we're gonna subsidize the project early on in the,
Right.
once we become operational, that's really where that money is gonna go to help subsidize the startup over a period of time.
Right.
Just conversations I've had with different people, I think that 70% of this county that's covered is basically Hartford City, isn't it? Montpelier is
No.
pretty,
Montpelier is covered,
okay.
yeah, I mean,
So I actually had a conversation with someone from Charter, and they thought Montpelier was highly unacceptable.
well, here's the FCC broadband. So what's eligible is the white.
That's interesting.
Well, yeah, it is, because, I mean,
I know.
Well,
That seems odd.
again, I'm talking to somebody from the county, and they said that Harvard was actually more covered, but Montpelier was really eligible. Actually, that was my conversation with Charter.
Harrison and Jackson's covered,
Yeah,
at Goldville, they're covered,
yeah.
Trenton.
But that's, I, personally, I'm excited, the thought of getting broadband to Montpelier, that's awesome, and really excited. Contract scares me though, because it's not very well written. It says county, the county will give an abatement. And was that what you're counting on, the county to give the abatement, or?
well, you know, we've seen documentation in the state both ways. In some cases, the city can do it. In some cases, it all defers to the county. So I think the intent was that if the city can do it, that would be the place to do it. If they can't, then it would have to be county for an abatement. That, unfortunately,
Abatements are not uncommon, I mean, that's about the only incentive that they have to come here, really is, I mean, really.
Yeah.
And also the exclusivity of it, I mean, if you're gonna invest, the reason that they wouldn't,
Yeah.
what the option to get money back before somebody else is,
Yeah.
that's I would.
Do you guys have copies of the contract, or should I talk to them?
Back to us a
I
little
just
bit.
don't have it on my phone. I don't
This
think
is
I'll
how-
be copy of it actually.
So-
have one.
well, this is an FCC map. Is, you know, this, as I said, this is public record. You can go online right now and see this map. So the white is the areas that would fall into categories of unserved and underserved. And unserved is 25 down and 3 up or less, and underserved is 100 down and 20 up or less. So northwest area obviously has a pretty large section. The blue areas are what they consider fall into the served category, and the color of blue, and you can go by each of the boxes, and it'll tell you what percent of coverage there is. Now, obviously, the dark blue is basically 100%
Covered.
coverage, is what the FCC is saying. And then the state follows the FCC guidelines.
So they're getting this information, a lot of it came from the people getting online and submitting the speed tests and stuff, is that it?
And that's part of it, but also it's all the providers in the county are also providing data also. They wanna know,
Yeah, we have several providers
Yeah,
that provide internet.
and then we're all required to report.
Yeah. Some of it's not that good, but they do.
It's definitely not 300 up, 300 down.
Yeah.
It's like 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, so the white areas are the ones that will qualify for the grant money?
I mean, you could apply, it ends up being about 2,000 passings, and passings are it's both businesses and homes.
Okay.
But Blackfoot County has about 2,000 eligible people for funding for those areas of the county.
Okay. So, Brian, we had talked yesterday, did you ever find out what charter, is that what they would call it, charter? Did you ever find out what their service that they would have, that they offered, or cost or anything to the residents? I think I would really be interested in that, because if they have, come in here with, say, 300 over 300, and their price is $135 a month, nobody's gonna give it. So
Yeah.
I think that that's important to know before you.
It would be nice to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that they're willing to do it for no cost to the city,
Yeah, that's what,
then they're gonna pass that cost on to the customer, I would say.
Sure.
Monthly cost. I mean, that's what I would look at it anyway.
Yeah.
right.
But as it is right now, we don't know. We're just
We don't know.
speculating.
No, we don't
as to
know, but
what,
that's, yeah, that's exactly right.
What charter would,
Yeah.
charter would charge, not only
Yeah.
the city, but also the consumer. So,
So, Brad, I get a question too. What does it mean when it says, Development Commission warning, representing warning that it is certified broadband ready? What does that mean?
When the state, you have the ability to file a document with the state that you want the city of Montpelier to be designated as broadband ready.
Okay.
There's about 10 different things that go into that. And I mean, it's a fairly straightforward document, and I don't think there's anything that's onerous in there.
Why are we having to warrant that, or basically guarantee it?
So typically, most of the places we go into have that designation. I mean, there's probably 50 or 60 counties, and not everybody does it. It's just a designation that we would prefer to have. I mean, you fill out the document and you send it in, and they, within 30 days, are gonna respond. I'm not sure I know anybody that's ever been turned down.
so it's just a request
Yeah,
from the
it's a
city to the
request.
state.
Have we done that? Blackfoot County done that?
Oh, I don't know,
I don't know either.
I don't know if they did, I I think they have.
Okay,
I imagine. that
And if they have, then that takes care of it.
Yeah.
I imagine that Blackford County has, as considering they've invested all the money that they have into the fiber and broadband that they've done in the county.
You haven't done it, have you?
we're working on it.
Yeah, but you haven't done it.
Yeah, and actually,
Right, yeah.
I guess, again, that'll be another, the purpose gets struck down because it's saying we warrant that and guaranteeing it. And again, if we don't even know what it is and how, and so why, I mean, again, we would be in violation if we didn't get it, but we don't even know what it is.
You know what, Brad?
Well, the certified broadband ready certification, I mean, we don't even know, no one here knows what it is, except, you know, like I said, but yet the contract says we are warranting that we're ready, that we're certified broadband ready.
Is there a cost to that, to doing that?
I mean, send it in a form, that's all I do. It's, I mean, it's something we could strike out of there, but, and if Blackford County is broadband ready, I mean, that takes care of it, because then it's for the entire county,
Yeah.
which would include you.
No, Roy, if they have that designation?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I don't know either.
How many counties did you say you're in now in the state of Indiana?
We're in 9 counties, we're building 3 more.
Has anyone checked with the other counties to see if they're happy with mainframe?
I have. I mean, I checked their references out before they ever came to Blackford County in the first place. And, yeah.
When we had one county.
Yeah, they were in one county, yeah, that's right. They were just getting started. And, we were the furthest one north that you had done, is that still the case? Because they were concentrating on the.
Well, we
southern
got
part of Indiana.
Benton County. We have Benton County,
You have Benton now?
north of
Okay,
Montpelier.
Yeah, okay. Working at, with Bill on Delaware and Jay,
Delaware and
is
Jay,
that right?
yes,
And Grant,
and Grant.
is Grant? Are they doing it too?
They're still looking at it.
Okay,
I would say Delaware and Jay are much further along.
yeah, I knew when, they were at that meeting that I went to that day with you. So I figured they were doing it too, they were getting. Now,
Yeah.
Do they have fiber? Do they have high-speed fiber at all in Jay County? I'm assuming they would have to, some
Yeah, they have some, but it's pretty much
pretty
in the
spotty.
county seat,
Yeah,
Dunkirk, yeah.
okay, yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of, they have a pretty significant population that falls into the category of unserved or underserved.
So they would probably qualify for grant money then?
Yeah, they would,
Okay.
but that's a pretty significant size
Yeah.
project. too.
Well, that's a big county too.
So I,
Yeah, yeah.
so I suppose one of the questions that I have is, obviously, we've already made some speculations about what, potentially Charter may have to offer for us. Is there any kind of a timeframe, now that, I mean, we're not applying for the grants anymore, is there any kind of a timeframe that is required of us to enter into this agreement? Or is it, are you kind of just waiting for us to give you guys the green flag to move forward with this?
You know, our preference would be the green flag so we can get you built and completed sooner than later, because
In 6 months.
as the time, as the grant money starts being released, then obviously we're gonna be building in other counties, and at that point in time, and we have time limits on those, on that money to build and make operational, so, you know, if you If it was, you know, later into the year, I mean, basically, you wouldn't be at the head of the list as you are now.
Let's talk about getting grant money in here, and,
Strike that.
Yeah, you
Strike
can strike that because they found out, when did you guys find out that we're not eligible for the grant?
Oh, in the it's just been really in the last 30 days,
Okay.
yeah.
And
so
we don't,
you're not gonna apply for grant money from out there?
no,
We don't.
No, you're not eligible.
you know,
Okay, is, no, I was, again, I was just talking to somebody from Charter a couple weeks ago, and they said they were looking at Montpelier and they said we're,
Well, maybe then, but you said that map changes periodically, maybe they.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't have a map or
And I mean, there's all kinds of different grant money, but if you're talking about the next level grant money and the BEAD money, at this point in time, you're not eligible. And I'm not saying in another 6 months or years that you might be eligible. I mean, it's possible, depending on the reporting and, you know, but.
do you think this was a mistake that we're somehow, I mean, that's reporting is a mistake?
no, we went back to them and asked them that question, Mark just mentioned that,
They said no.
and they said no.
I know,
Yeah.
but in your estimation, it is a mistake.
It is not 100% correct. We all know that. I mean, and it's just not Montpelier. I mean, there's flaws every place in the data. So,
Is this the blue, I'm seeing here at the top where it says speed, and it has speed greater than 100/20, is that the requirement?
yes, yeah.
And so they're saying we have speed
Yes.
greater than 100/20?
That's what they're saying.
That's cute. That's not true.
Now, even cheaters, they're sticking by that there at this point in time.
You guys provided an internet survey to try and
Yeah.
defend your point, and that's what you submitted to Oprah, you said?
There was some of the data, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are different ways you can scrub that data. You know, we have 2 or 3 sources. We also have ways to find out when passings are mislabeled, and we'll file a request for them to, you know, relook at that. And our first list was 55,000 mislabeled addresses in the areas we wanted to go into. So yeah, I mean, that's the playing field we're in. We know it's flawed. You know, they are willing to look at it, but I mean, really what you have to do is you have to get everybody to go online, sign in, and say, here's my speed at my home or my business, and then they take the data and then it come in, they're gonna go, oh, I guess maybe that's not quite right.
Right.
But you know,
Yes.
and a lot of people, and you know, part of the problem, one of the things we've heard more than once is they go, look, I've done this 3 times and nothing's still happening, so why am I gonna do that? I mean, everybody, you know, it's a burnout kind of situation. But that's really the way to do it at this point, and they have a site online at the state.
Right, yes. You said the timeline for grants was June.
June approvals,
June is approval, so you would have to have the application in before then.
February, early February.
Early February is when applications would be due for this next round of funding.
And then there's one more round. There's been 2 rounds of challenges so far on the data.
Yep.
On all the passings. And then once the application is submitted for grant money, then there's another challenge round that's specific to that application.
Okay.
And so if you send in 500 addresses that you want money for, somebody can challenge all 500, they can challenge 50, they can challenge any given number. And you can have, we have on one grant we tried to do, we had four challengers. So yeah, but it's, you know, to do an application, you know, if we don't have data that proves
Right.
sufficiently that it's unserved, underserved, it, you know,
Application.
it kind of is, you know, and they kind of go, why are you sending this to us? Yeah,
But to your point, Brad, on the section in there where it states we haven't had the grant, we can strike that.
Okay. So I was striking big, a lot of that, okay. So you're not gonna apply for the state grant?
Not directly, yeah.
no,
No?
I mean, we did go back to the state and say, we don't think this is good data, and they said, no, it's good data, so they, willing to reconsider.
And I literally did talk to the charter representative, they said, Montpelier was gonna apply for the grant, and they had some,
Were they applying for a grant? What kind of grant were they applying for?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's income-based. Are
Well,
they looking for income-based? I mean, are they looking for like low to moderate
it
income?
was the same grant, because it said it was due early February.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it was like based off of your income, and we would qualify. That's why we got so much free money for the sewer project, because it was based on income, and we were very, we used to be low to moderate, now we're just low. So that's why we got $5.5 million in free money.
Well, we sure stand to benefit a lot from this. I mean, with the money already kind of being there, but agree, back to that section 4.2, I mean, where that $5,000 a day fine, that needs to be,
well, we could,
That's because, see, that, the GIS map, that's to the county, that's not to the city.
but, so we're not putting the burden on the county. You're gonna take it out, period.
period,
So that we not pay it or,
yeah.
whatever.
The exclusivity, let's say we have a new business that comes in and they have their own, you know, provider. How will that affect that? Are we gonna then have to require mainstream?
I mean, you already have other providers in Montpelier now.
Yeah, I know that, but we don't have an agreement.
The exclusive, I mean, basically, what we don't want you to do is endorse other projects for Montpelier. If we're gonna build,
Exactly.
we would not,
We're going to invest $700,000 into the community. For us to go out and badmouth them would be, I mean, that would be appalling to me. I would be totally ashamed.
Or to enter into another agreement with another company while they're building.
Yes.
that'd be a little problem.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps, it helps from the standpoint of, especially if there would be grant money in the future, it would help, that you are endorsing one provider, because if you write letters for foreign providers, I can tell you, nobody's getting the money. I mean, they're gonna, which one you really care about here, and so that's just, I mean, we just put that in, practice in our agreements.
I really don't like the poles. I always hoped it would be underground. But,
You know, it costs about 3 times as much.
I can appreciate that, you know. I can appreciate that. But you got in here, have you done do you know how many poles you're gonna add yet to the city?
No, we don't have a plan. We're still, I mean, we've done a preliminary engineering. I don't know that we're gonna add a lot of poles. I mean, there's sufficient poles here. but the question is, you know, can we attach to them? I mean, that's a whole different question.
Mhm.
And, I mean, utilities, be it Duke or AEP or RAMC, they do have the right to deny you to go on polls, given certain circumstances. But, I mean, not contemplating putting in like 500 poles or anything like that. I mean, that's, and, I mean, in a small area, what we're talking about, I mean, that's difficult to put in a lot of extra poles, just to do it for yourself.
Tax abatement, or, you know, redevelopment, but you can't put that in the contract because that's not their role.
So, then, you know, we requested the city council.
Right, and I think that would be, you know, certainly could be looked at.
The city council's the one that approves the tax agreement.
Yeah. So that would need to be changed in the contract.
Right.
Then we would,
Well, it'd have to be approved by the city council.
yeah, but the contract would, yeah.
It needs to be changed from the county council to the
Yes.
city
Yeah,
council,
and that's fine.
not the county council,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
but that's wrong.
So then we can't vote on this tonight if we need to first get the county or the city council's approval to give them the tax abatement?
I think there's a lot of stuff on here you guys talked about that needs changed.
Yeah.
I think I think everybody needs to get together that's involved on it. And this contract, we don't wanna run into what we did with Hagios and all them. You wanna make sure this is right before anything's done. Just my opinion.
So do we just entertain a
I'd
motion
say
to
table
table? Yeah, I'll make a motion to table this and contingent upon the, city council's approval of the tax abatement, then we can read a new contract.
And honestly, I still think we should talk to Charter and see what they have to offer and see what they, you know, what's just ridiculous.
Senator
He's state senator out of Huntington. He's running for Jim
Huntington,
Banks.
okay, that's
He's
what I
running
meant.
for Jim Banks' seat. And one
Okay,
of
I
his-
wondered where he was out of. Is he, yeah, okay.
He actually came, I had lunch with dinner with him, and he, one of his platforms is bringing broadband to rural areas. He said he would help. So I said, hey, I said, well, what can you do? And so that's the reason he put me in contact with someone from Charter, who said,
Charter.
who said,
Where
they
is
probably,
it you guys are working with? Charter?
we had a Zoom meeting, Brad was in on the Zoom meeting with Warren and I, with Mr. Zay, the senator.
yes.
What- Not working for Charter.
No.
No.
He's just promoting them.
Yeah,
Correct. Well,
well, he was one that they talked about,
yeah.
company they talked about.
He's not promoting them, he's just basically throwing
He's
names out.
promoting the broadband for the rural areas.
Yeah, he's just throwing names
Yes.
out.
Yeah, right.
Well, so we got a motion to table it, second, anybody else? All in favor? Aye.
I'm okay with tabling it so we can find out.
I just think there's a lot of
We need
information
something
out
from
there
Charter,
that needs to
Brad.
be
We gotta have
found out.
something in writing from
Right.
Charter.
Absolutely. I agree.
And that gives you some time to get something in writing
Yeah,
from
you
Charter.
can't
and
just-
then-
I absolutely agree with that. And I appreciate everything you guys have done for Montpelier, and I'm certainly open to working with you, and I hope you know that, and because so.
The fact that
we just
Main Stream's
gotta take care of our-
already here, and we already have a rapport with Main Stream, tried to give us a little leg up, I think. They are familiar with Montpelier,
Yeah.
and, yeah, they've been good at the city.
Okay. Got
Thank
it
you, Fred,
listed as,
thank you, Mark,
Thank
and I do appreciate you guys and all you've done for the city.
Appreciate all the questions you answered. Appreciate all the questions you answered tonight. That was really helpful, helping us understand more of what we're reading here.
okay, next thing we got a donation to Hagios, we've got a resolution number 2023-18, and that is to report, among other matters, a pledge for the TIP revenues in the amount not to exceed $19,999. They paid us 20. We're gonna basically give them towards the school $19,999.
And the economic development agreement, the purpose of that is, the resolution says, this is what we want to do, we want to give them that back, and if that is approved, then this is how it's going to be used. The
Yeah.
economic agreement says that they're going to use it to make.
They're essentially just gonna use it on the school, right?
Especially to get into the heating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're going to use it to make improvements to the school, I guess is what it says.
Yeah.
Respondents plan to remodel the facility to accomplish this development, yeah, okay, yeah. So they would use that, that's what we're agreeing to allow them to use that monies for. Time that we sent out the RFPs on that property. Working. And since then, it's not. We couldn't even get tables to come in, they wouldn't even touch it, they said.
They've got two more things that's not with, so they're gonna look at a different form of heating.
I move we accept this resolution number 2023-18.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we got old business.
This, I think,
I hope it don't take long with
this
this here now.
requires all of us. And then, we need a motion to, approve the economic development agreement. And it says, and obvious wasn't here, I didn't get this back from John until yesterday, so we weren't able to be here tonight. It won't, if we have to go ahead and vote on it, but it won't be executed until Hagios is agreed to it. So if we can vote on it tonight and approve it, and then, I have sent it to them, they just weren't able to be here tonight to sign it. So they've read it and everything. So I told them we would be open to me tomorrow, if they can get in tomorrow to sign that, then it would be effective. So,
Got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Got a second?
Could you explain that a little more? I don't know what this agreement's about.
Oh, the economic development agreement?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't send it to you, I know it. I just got it yesterday afternoon, sorry about that. You want me to read it to you? I can read it. Whereas the commission desires to foster redevelopment, economic development in and around a certain area of Rockland County and within the Montpelier District, and whereas the respondents have previously approached the commission regarding the redevelopment of the old Montpelier School Building at 107 East Monroe Street to create a school for the arts and benefit the residents in Montpelier, Indiana, on property, I gave you the wrong property, on property that was formerly used as a school. Oh, crap, I printed out the wrong, anyway, they had a typo in here, and I went through and corrected the typo, anyway, it was formerly used as a school, whereas part of the project for the respondents have, among other things, requested commission's assistance in developing the project by purchasing the property from the commission for $20,000. And whereas in exchange for the requested economic development assistance from the commission, the respondents will look at that, Lisa. Oh, yeah, because there's typos are still there. Yeah. Anyway, unless I didn't realize the right ones and I kept the wrong one maybe.
That would be this. What you're looking for.
This is the wrong one. Let me go back. I'm sorry. Apologize.
Do we have updates on the other items from old business? We could be given to us while, or you the one that has to give us those updates?
Oh, I can give you an update. Let me go ahead and give you the update. I'll do that. And I don't know if I'll print that out in just a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And then, because that's the last thing on the agenda, isn't it?
Your new business.
And do that.
And it was-
Yeah, I'll go get you that copy of the economic development. I apologize for that. I thought sure, because I made copies, and then I noticed the typos, and I went back through and changed it, and I turned around and gave you the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I apologize. Okay. I have to give you guys the update on this one, on the. Okay, let me get the right copy now. Might still be laying on my desk.
Resolution.
I don't know, that's what,
Just give it
that's what
back.
the lawyer said we had to do. As long as it's all
Can you just give them the money?
signed and
I don't-
done.
I guess I don't see the point. I mean, there's gotta be something, a reason for it. It says up to 300,000, but that, that can mean, still doesn't mean they're putting in $300,000.
Did you put the Christmas trees up in the chain? Oh.
Oh,
Oh, okay, those look nice. I noticed those for the first time today.
yeah.
I didn't, were they up there? Were they up there for the hometown Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm oblivious, but I noticed them today.
I read it before the door was there, we were up there.
Well, I noticed them today, they look really nice. Thanks, Chris.
Good thing you didn't take it down already. He was-
Yeah, I wouldn't notice. I also noticed where the dolphin was, in case anybody's wondering. Newcomer to town, I learned about that very quickly.
Real obvious this year.
It is, they need to put it in it's been on 18, like, the last 3 years, so.
And Doug's just got to go up and get all his extension cords, get them out of there. And then you won't be able to see the trees.
Do you have, your ECI project, do you have updates for that?
Biggest update is that the surveys are complete. Vectren is able to start on the solar project out there at the wastewater district.
Okay.
That you guys had. But other than that, all the ECI projects are completed. The only one that would still be somewhat in question is the park, but we're waiting on the engineering designs to be finished up from Context, which I believe Mayor Vance has updates about the park itself from Brian at Context.
I don't know who did that for John.
I'm just curious,
Yes, sir.
what would be your role going forward? Because you've been hired now, they've given us a
Right.
intern, right? So are you, if we were to continue with ECI, are you gonna stay on with Montpelier, or what would be your role then?
You can have some say in that of, would you want a college intern? Because I'm not in college anymore,
Right.
but that would be your decision. You'd have to talk that over with my boss, Bill, of what do you desire? Would you like to have someone as just a 10 hours a week kind of thing? And that would be someone, that's
But you
kind of
wouldn't
my
be
role.
involved, it wouldn't necessarily be you, it would just be someone, another.
I mean, if you
college
want it to be me, you could request me.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be fine, but yeah, that'd be a discussion you'd have to have with my superior.
So how much time did you put in the past?
I would roughly do about 10 hours a week. That was just a rough estimate of what the time frame would be, and then I'd be at all the meetings giving you updates. But the majority of the time, I mean, I now work as Jay County's community developer, and a lot of times it's more so, what are the elected officials, the amount of work that they put in is kind of the amount of work that I get to be able to put in, because a lot of times I bring you whatever information you're needing for you to make the decision, and then when you make that decision, I then go from that. So,
So working in Dade County, would that take away from here?
I don't think so. Technically, I'm a consultant, so
Mhm.
I have to work until all of my work is complete. Right? It's not like I'm 40 in, 40 out. It's, if I can complete everything in 30 hours, then great. I have more time to spend elsewhere. If I have to take 60 hours in a week, I have to take 60 hours a week. But that's where it may be nice to have the college intern, but also that college intern wouldn't have the experience that I've been able to have. So there's pros and cons to each side. I'm just curious, Brad, do you have contact for Bill? Did I send you a contact at all?
Oh, yeah, I've talked to him.
Okay.
I had lunch with him, last week.
Okay. I wanted to make sure if you were interested, to make sure that you
Yeah,
knew how to
I
get
had
it.
lunch with him, so yeah, that's something.
Yeah, yeah, of course. You want this one back, Brad?
No, I have it. This sounds like peppers in it.
I've got 2 copies of the second page.
Well, this is one more.
Fine, this
Everybody else see the copy of this? Jesse, come on.
Jesse ain't got one.
You had a first page copy, maybe?
I'm not the one that really needs it, as long as
Oh,
everybody else has
no,
one,
I've
that's fine.
got them right here, I just probably took up the wrong one. Yeah, this is your page. Yep. There's yours, Jesse. Sorry about that, like I said, printed it out last night before I went home and came in this morning and made the corrections and forgot to give you the corrected copy.
Glad you caught it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't catch it until I started to read it. I thought, well, you guys don't even have the right one. Yeah. Take time to read through it.
So basically, this is saying that, okay, so in the past, they've had a kind of blank slate, they could actually sell a building or that or whatever. This is kind of giving, is this it, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad, I wasn't listening, I was reading this.
Okay. Well, it says, like in 3.04, it says, basically that if the respondents don't follow through with the school in developing things, is that there'd be a breach of this agreement, and that we would be entitled then to a refund of the money and possession of the land of the facility. Is that the point of the agreement then? Is that,
That's what the purchase agreement says.
well, okay, the purchase agreement didn't say that, though.
Oh, did it say, what did it say?
Well, I don't have it here, but, it was pretty straightforward. Well, it said that if they started the school within 5 years, they fulfilled their obligation, but they could start it a year into it and sell it, or gut it or whatever. They have
But this document says
this
that
document.
if they don't, then they're in breach of the contract and either the refund of the money is contributed and immediate possession of the land facility. It's all agreed.
So it says something different than the purchase agreement, did it?
Well, it seems to. Is that the purpose of this agreement, do you know?
the purpose of this agreement is just to say what we want them to use the $19,999 for.
Okay.
And we expect them to use it towards the purchase of improvements to the building. That's what it said. And if they haven't used it by, what, the $19,999 plus whatever time it is,
Yeah, 5 years,
yeah. In 5 years, then
they're in breach, yeah.
they're gonna spend $19,000 in
Yeah.
the first week.
So,
Yeah, so that's what this is talking about, the $19,999.
So did you make a motion to approve this?
No, I haven't made
Yeah.
it. Did I make a motion to approve it?
And you said you had the wrong one.
Oh, I said I would read it, didn't I? Yeah, no, I picked it up and read it. I thought, that's not reading the right one. This is the right one.
I make a motion to approve.
Second. You making a second or the motion?
I don't know, do we need a new motion or do we need
No,
a
I
second?
made a motion to approve it. I didn't realize I said I made a motion. Go ahead. Yeah,
All right, then I'll second it.
all right.
All in favor?
Okay, and I think this one, yeah, just supposed to be your signature.
But is that the right one?
This is the right one, yeah. Yeah, that's the right one. I didn't.
No, because I signed it.
What way, if I may ask?
They didn't have it
This
right
was
this
my
all.
copy.
Oh, this was the right.
Yeah, that was the right one. I had the right one. You had the
Operating
right
school.
one.
Right.
That's not the right one.
Mine is,
Yeah,
It didn't seem
yeah,
like
I
it
just
said
didn't
that.
change.
Well, I know that all of
it.
them-
The right one.
from conversations I've had, I think they had
So
together,
that one.
they want that to be the case, and
Okay,
that was what they were intending it to be.
right.
If that's not the case, then I would say you need to get a hold of John Brooks, because that's what they have all wanted, and if it's been made otherwise, it would have been Mr. Brooks that would have made that agreement.
Okay, well, the purchase agreement didn't have much to it,
Okay.
but this seems to have more to it, which is good.
My recommendation would be then to talk to John, because I know that they all wanted it to be, if it's not gonna be used as a school, what they promised it, then they don't deserve to have a building.
Right,
Right.
Yeah,
And
that was supposed to be in the
That's
purchase
what,
agreement.
that's what they've all wanted it to be, and if that's not what John put together,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't say that's on any of them, I would say that's a conversation to have with the attorney.
Well, I think this is more limiting.
Yes.
Which is good. And now it's approved, so we're good.
All right, Baldwin Park.
Yeah.
I'm starving.
Yeah. We have the preliminary engineering stuff done and preliminary design. And they had to do soil surveys and some stuff like that. And we've got about close to $85,000 to $90,000 in it so far. And Brad wanted to table everything. So that's just, I just want to let you know what we've spent on it so far. 123, we got the concrete poured in the front section there on 123. I haven't gotten the bill from Urban yet, but that's been done. 125, they got the upper house door was installed. And, and the JT contracting, they did a walkthrough with the punch list, and they got 2 or 3 things they need to come back for, but they can't do it until spring. It's on the outside of the building, they can't do it in cold weather. And they're coming back for that punch list, in the spring. So that project, other than that, 125 will be done then. And we don't owe any more money because it was in the contract, they just couldn't do it because of the weather. And we were lucky we got 123 for the Opera House door painted, really, so.
So 123, right, we have to apply for the grant to do the bill out, so.
Yeah, we still got some grant money. Did David tell you how much grant money we got? We just paid the contractor off, it was 88,000 or 86 or 88,000 for 125. We just got that paid off.
It used to result drawdowns on 123.
What?
Drawdowns on 123.
Yeah, we still got money to draw down, but yeah, that building, we'll probably have $250,000 in that building by the time we get it ready for medical. Cause it was nothing, I mean, it was, we brought it out, and there's no heating, no plumbing, no ceiling, no nothing in that building, it's a mess. So, yeah,
Dave applied for the RBDG grants, correct? The rural business development grants? Is that
he's
was,
gotten two.
he's gotten two. I thought the RB,
He applied with, Norfolk Southern, I don't know if he's heard back from the
right, I knew that
railroad
one.
yet.
That one, that's a fantastic grant because it's,
Yeah,
there's no match.
yeah,
It's a gift in kind, basically.
Well,
yeah, so,
David told me that he said it's about, he's gonna apply for $100,000 grant, $100,000 match from the city.
it's a 50. Land and Water Conservation, or LWC, I think it was LWC. I think that's
So
what
he
it
said
was.
basically 200,000 to build out the inside.
Yeah, that's probably about right, yeah. Yeah, so,
That's on 123.
yeah. So he applied for that one?
I don't know, I don't think so.
I don't know if he has or not, yeah. I don't know if he has or not either. So that was just one that would be available. Also money available to, but some of those, there's only like, you have to apply by, application has to be in by February 1st or something, and they don't award until, it's made like July or something. So, grant money is great when you get it, but if you're in a hurry, you're not.
That was one of the things that's so good about mainstream is that they've got funding. I mean,
They've
we're
got
not
the funding,
contingent on any approval.
They've got the funding,
They've
that's
got funding
there,
ready to go.
and we could have internet, residential internet by June.
Well,
That would be fantastic.
they seem to be real flexible on working through those loopholes or those issues.
It's
They're
strange that it
very good in Montpelier.
wasn't caught earlier. I think if you ran that to our attorney.
Pardon?
We ran all that to our attorney, you should have been one to catch all that.
The contract, you were
Oh,
saying
the
that.
Main
contract?
Street, he's talking about Main Street contract.
Yeah, and that was an agreement that they gave us, I don't know when. It's been a while back, and that's when they were planning on applying for a grant too, so they didn't.
Well, he seemed to be in the know, he seemed to be knowing what was going on and, on top of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, it's weird, the charter, literally, then, see, the charter said we were an excellent opportunity for a grant, and, so I don't,
But you don't know what kind of grant that they were talking about. If it was on low to moderate income, we may be
but
eligible for grant
it
money.
was the same grant he was talking about, because it was due early February.
Well, there's a lot of grants due in February,
Okay.
so, I mean,
I'd be curious to know as well.
Yeah.
What was their source in that? Because, I mean, if the state has said no and they've talked to the state, I'm curious to know what charter, or who charter's talked to.
Right.
Maybe they've talked to somebody else, I don't know, but
Well, I'll ask them to
that'd be good to
get
know.
more specifics, and then I'll get a good idea of what the package would offer.
Absolutely.
yep, okay, all right.
We be adjourned.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Did you guys find the notes for December?
I think so.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. You ever go up and see the monument?
Yeah, you see why?
I saw the monument. I'm not oblivious to everything. Here, you're welcome. So you want to sign that one?
Not servicing them.
Not real well, we're not real
Have you
happy.
guys had sucker service with them?
Yeah.
You know, over here, it's been nothing but. It's terrible. I don't know how long, I can't remember how long they've been here, but we've only lost service with them twice.
On mine.
The first time that we lost service, they had
Yeah.
somebody flipped the
Got those
switch
the
and
other
their
day.
switch.
All right, I gotta get out of here.
See you guys. Take care, sir.
The county still had it.
Huh? Yeah, my boss doesn't never.
Just left, we get them back.
He was the news and just.
The next time it went out, it was just kind of a momentary lapse, but that's because somebody hit on State Route 26, where the phone risers are in the ground, where everything comes together at the corners. Somebody careened off the road and smashed one of those, and it took out the internet.
when
But
it
they
gets
were
back
able to
to
get us back online before part
We all signed it.
because, I mean, ours comes in on a different, on a different line.
Right.
So the ones that.
I
brought
give
the
it back
gel
to you,
and everything
because
are
you
different
said that was the
than
right
ours
one,
in town.
and the one you
Other
had was
than
the
those
wrong
two
one.
times, we have never had the first interruption. of it.
Yeah, but I signed one, and I just signed my name was all
Yeah,
tagged.
we, you know, they have,
I didn't keep
they've
it.
had problems after problems with the sheriff's department.
Yeah,
But with
yeah.
our phone system, we've never had the first, well, I can't say that, we, well, I guess and no.
We're all
We had
set.
problems with ours here just about a month ago, when we called the sheriff's department, we ended up like getting a hold of somebody at the Bloomington City Police Department, we're like, what?
Yeah.
We're calling the sheriff's department, they're going, it wasn't Bloomington, but it was some town down there. Going, no, I'm calling the Blackton County Sheriff's Office, you know, what number are you calling? Well, that's not our number, so we got a little message like, hey, you got your wires crossed somewhere. But I mean, as far as the reliability of the service in town, we've never had any issues, never had any issues with speed either. So,
What's the?
Alright.
you know, I don't know,
See
but
ya.
I'll tell you what, once you come in, well, or I'll just look it up, just throw it.
No problem.
Do it here if we can, like, get the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, well, that's what, you know, back in some we've never experienced what they have elsewhere. They're usually pretty Johnny on the spot.
Which one show you?
What's that?
Which one show you?
Oh, boy,
Or do you?
I really don't know.
Okay, and you do know the password for any of them, or do you?
Nope.
Is it on your phone?
Uh,
Or do you got an Apple?
I don't know, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's fine, well, I can try it later. That's fine, I just was curious.
I think about it, I'll hit one up at the police department, and tomorrow, see what it's speeds at, you know, what the up and down is.
Well, I'm not opposed to working with it, but I just want to make sure it's the best.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's the bottom line.
that's prudence, that's doing homework, you know, comparing apples to apples, I mean. The newest thing is not the best thing.
Here, your last meeting, make sure you take that one, put that.
Well, the thing is like with Main Street, one of the things I hammered them on, like, but if your system fails, what are you gonna do about it? Like, how are you gonna get on it?
Right.
Well,
They're putting down a national in the air.
you know, the one time that we had problems with our phone, they were just down here, they just put new phones in, and we had with the actual phones themselves. And we told them, like, well, we'll get somebody up here, and I said, yeah, and I said, I expect to see them here by 6 o'clock tonight. Well, no one's doing it, 6 o'clock tonight, they were up here at 5:30, and they stayed until. No, I told them, I said, that's not acceptable, I told them, I said, you realize we're a police department, we're an emergency agency. Having no phone service is not acceptable, I said, your folks told us we would take care of that, and I expect that. I will see you by 6 o'clock tonight, you can come get your phones and take them out of here. 5:30, they were open.
Okay.
So, they just held their feet to the fire, said that's not acceptable,
Does not have.
not acceptable.
And what's been the problem with the county?
I was just, I don't know, I just
And well, that,
didn't,
that's
I
they
didn't
did
think
with.
they worked.
Now,
Got rid of it, but.
No, from the contract, so we can get out of that contract. We're gonna try it.
I can tell you one of the two differences that I do know that we had, that was different than the county, is that
Well, I'll see you guys later.
all of our infrastructure, they did all of the gateways inside the police department. Mainstream did everything, from the fiber coming in until we plugged in the phone. Whereas the county, they have the IT company that did Apple.
Right, no, we
They
used to.
they did all the IT work, all the fiber company did was just bring it in and plug it into the courthouse. And then they had somebody else, where we had them.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any difference, I mean, I wouldn't think so, Steven seems pretty confident.
Stevens on top of it.
Yeah, he seems pretty confident,
Used to be
so.
something like technology, it's not so bad.
How many people in church have
That's
fallen?
the only difference is that we've ever had.
You know, adults did.
What after we got inside the building. So I don't know if that's, made any difference or not. I don't know, but still, even at that, I mean, good, bad, or otherwise, they're having issues, we've never had any issues. It still just makes sense to go, well, what you guys bringing to
I
the
think the
table?
telephone bills,
What's that?
our bills.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty high.
That part of it I don't see, so.
I mean, she mentioned, she's, we don't, probably
Home
go.
there.
Also,
Yeah, they get a bill, I just, I don't know what it is.
See, the thing is, when we were with them, they weren't asking for exclusive rights, because I talked to somebody else about the contract, and he said, well, it looks like they're just talking about exclusive rights for their equipment. So I'm like, you're anytime you go with exclusive, he said, you're talking, so read the fine print, he said, for the backbone.
Guess I can stop streaming.
And that probably is
I,
gonna
no, I had it faded off, it was
be
just
just
that
anybody else.
logo.
It's a little bit more.
Yeah, it is, so, you know.
Like this stuff, this technology stuff, people throw it at you at the speed of light, and it's like, whoa, slow down.
It's
Let's
agreeing that. I
just-
mean, why did they wait till the last minute to release that?
Yeah, like, one day, one business day.
No, I can't.
Yeah, we're all kind of in the race for that title to be a high-speed internet city. But look how long we went without it. I think slow the thing.
And you've signed it for 20 years. I mean, that's,
That's a
I
slow.
mean, things
Well,
change
yeah,
a
like,
lot.
for years, you know, what if everybody just satellite, you know, what's something that we don't want to be limited.
Right.
One of the county.
Wow.
2%.
See, that's what
They're gonna do that.
that's what one said.
Technology is always changing. This stuff is evolving. I never thought, back in my day, I mean, when I had my old Flickomatic camera with flash cubes on it, with flash cubes on it, that they would be flying in the sky on a drone. I mean, I never thought about that stuff, and here we are.
Yeah.
This stuff they put in today, I don't care what company it is, it's obsolete tomorrow. There's something new, there's 2.0, whatever. So I think when you do it, you should make sure you're getting the best deal, the best bang for the buck.
Okay.
And I agree, 20 years.
Like, that's almost as old as me. Just think about, like,
Holy cow,
Like-
Kelly.
just think about, like, okay, when I was younger, did you even think about having, like, cell phones?
No, the first cell phone they came out with was the Sony Ericsson. This thing is about, they called it a brick for a reason, because it weighed about as much as a brick. But, here we are, they're tiny, collapsible, and foldable. That's just how, evolving technology is. But 20 years, wow. I think that's an awful long time to be stuck with. Kind of antiquated technology, 20 years, if they're not making progress, nobody's.
Right.
20 years is an awful long time. to
Right.
keep up with a Apple II computer,
Yeah, who knows? Regular cell phones or like service might be like 5 times as fast by then.
Oh, I'm sure it will be, I don't know, I just don't think, that lightning speed on something like this.
Money.
And so, yeah, and then she was gonna have,
I'm gonna head for home.
Okay.
So my car's gonna head that way.
All right, happy trails,
Good to
you
meet you.
too, take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see what you'll have to critique the video. I'm sure it's gonna be horrible, because there were like things that I was trying to adjust all the way through. We'll try to improve on it as we go. I mean, the video part, the imagery looked good. What I could hear, the sound was okay, but I think I got some batteries dying in one of the microphones up there because it was cracking and popping, so. We'll work through it.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get this done for a while. It's just one thing after another. It's just gotten in the way. But I guess you're quite the drone, what do they call it? They don't call them a juggernaut. It's do they have a term for like some sort of a knot for drone operators, like astronauts, flying the drones or something like that?
I don't know.
Don't know?
I just know I like flying drones.
That's cool. So I was talking to, who was I talking to? Mike Barnes. He said that you were kind of big into the drones, took a class on it down last day.
Well, wait, what'd you say?
Mike Barnes told me that you took a class for drones down at Ball State or something?
No, I didn't take a class. I was part of the drone club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he said, he said you took a class down here. I know that they have like the pilots classes and stuff like that, when you get your certification to fly or whatever.
Yeah.
Was that kind of what it was? Or
Yeah.
did you take that? Did you take that at Ball State or did you
It
take
was,
it?
I actually went to Taylor and I
Oh,
did it
okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like drones. My problem is you know, I'd like to go out and spend $1,500 or so, or $2,000 on a drone. The problem is, again, it's like one of those things, like I get it today, it's antiquated tomorrow. So what do I do? What do I do? We've never, we don't have one for the police department, and we probably won't just because of the expense. And I look at the number of times over the last 30 years that, you know, we can use the drone, and the number of times that would have probably been usable versus the cost of a nice one. I just don't think I could justify the expense of doing it. We just wouldn't use it that much. Hartford City bought one. I think they spent $17,000 on there. It was about 4 years ago. And they don't use it that much. I told your dad, I said, I could even consider telling the council, saying, I'm gonna spend $17,000 on a drone that we might fly once in 3 or 4 years. You know, we have so many agencies, police agencies and fire departments around us that have drones. We can call them and they'll come bring theirs.
Yeah.
So why spend $17,000 on one when they'll bring it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you ever need one, I got
Oh,
one.
well,
So.
I'm glad you offered that up, because I was gonna talk to your dad about that. But one of the things that, I was gonna see, maybe later on, if you had like any interest in starting a local, but what do you know, to get people in the community.
That'd be cool.
You know, I don't know if that's something we talk about grants, if there would be like maybe apply for a grant through the community foundation, to, you know, offset the cost of drones for participants that wanted to get into the program. So, just something to think about.
Yeah.
So, if you had something like that, I'd probably force myself, Kelly, to buy a drone. I would probably bite the bullet, go buy a drone.
All right, well.
Yeah. Good. Mike said you had, was a DJI, I think is what he said. Mike had a little, have you seen the one he's got?
No, not yet, but I heard he convinced Cheryl to get him one.
Yeah, he talked Cheryl into getting me one, so I'm hey Brad, I'm trying to con your daughter into, you know, getting into some programs here. We're talking about drone stuff. She said, yeah. I told her, I said, I'm not gonna, I said, I could never go to the council like Hartford City did. Actually, Hartford City's probably gonna buy another drone. They spent, I didn't know that. Hartford City's got one, they spent $17,000 on one about 4 or 5 years ago. I told Kelly, I said, there's no way I can even conceivably come to the council and go, this is a great idea. You know, but I was talking to her, I was gonna buy a drone to have one to kind of play with. And I told her, I said, why don't you start a local drone club? You know, maybe get some kids.
Actually, she was in Taylor.
That's what we're talking about. I said, you've already got the experience. I said, get a hold of, you know, maybe you can get a grant from the community foundation, get kids in the community, you know, just kind of inexpensive drones. We get like a starter kit for kids in the community. There you go. I mean, just a thought.
Yeah, just a thought. I mean, any excuse to fly that drone. I need more things to take pictures of.
The video stuff that you took at the Jamboree was cool.
Well, she
pretty
did
impressive. Oh, did you? Okay, I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, she did that. And she's available to do it when people ask her to.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I said, you know, we have so many agencies around us that will have all volunteered to bring theirs in. I just didn't think it was a worthwhile expense for us to explore, you know, here in town. I said, that's 30 years, I can only think of maybe having a drone would have been beneficial. And so when you look at the cost versus the benefit, and then consider the people within 20 miles of us, it says, we'll bring ours to you. It doesn't make sense to buy our own, you know, and have that kind of money.
PBS used their shots for the Indian too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so some of those and that were yours. Okay.
A lot of them, actually.
The upper ones.
Yeah, and then the one, did you see the hand? That was cute.
Oh,
Like I hold my phone, I said right at the beginning. It's, yeah. There was, she's holding the phone and is playing the Parks and Recreation theme.
Oh, yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's
That must have been part of what the guy, when he did the preview thing at the police department here that night, back PBS, but he did like a
And then
big artistic editors.
Oh, right,
something like
right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was up there to watch some of that, so that was pretty cool. They didn't give you, I don't, you know what, maybe he did give you credit for that too. I think, hey, Kelly, I think maybe he did give Kelly some credit for that, now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, he paid me, he paid me about $50 for this. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was still nice. It was nice, he wrote a real nice letter.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
It was an honor to be able to do it.
What I remember of watching that video, the clips were good. I mean, the imagery was really good, so that's awesome. That's awesome stuff.
I mean, it's a high resolution camera.
Oh, yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Mike Barnes was the one telling me that she had the, because he went to talk Sherilyn to buy.
Right, yes, he did,
He was like, hey, come over here and look at this. He's got his phone. He was like, yeah, look at that, man, I can see this and that. And like, you had the drone park, oh, that's some cool stuff. So,
They say, and we've never tested it because it's so expensive, but they say you can fly that up to 3 miles away.
Really?
And stay, so that's, I know, that's pretty awesome, but I don't know. It's like, we've never been able to, never trusted it on our site.
Yeah, the site,
It's too expensive.
it would be that one boomerang that would not come back.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right,
yeah.
that's right.
Go on
And
somewhere.
we've had that experience before.
Yeah.
Really?
Joel, it was actually, Joel, we got Joel, drone for Christmas one year.
Many years
Yeah,
ago.
this was probably 7 maybe, something like that.
Right?
So, we got excited, so we took it out, cold Christmas Eve, whatever.
The family was over, so we were gonna do
Yeah, so it flew up, out, and I said, Joel, bring it home. He's like, I'm trying, and it just flew away.
First time you used it.
Oh, first time maiden voyage, huh? Oh my gosh. Drone brought to you by Titanic.
Yeah.
Maiden voyage and it goes in the drink.
Ready?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
You too.
So,
Monday. I'll be here 11:30. Yours and everybody.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, did you have any forms